Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite video game franchises. I know they aren't necessarily the greatest games ever made. I mean, they're made by Ubisoft, it's pretty self-explanatory. But I have a lot of nostalgia with this series, and it's pretty close to my heart. And now, the newest release, AC Mirage, comes out in October. Some gameplay footage dropped about a month ago. What has been the overall response?
You think this is funny?
In a cosmic sort of way, yes.
Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness! Squidward!
Okay, in reality, reactions have been more mixed across the board. Personally, I didn't think it was that bad, but we are going to talk about it. Before that, though, we need to lay some groundwork for this video. So, my three favorite Assassin's Creed games are Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Origins, and Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I like each one for their own various reasons, and I'm going to go over them very quickly. So, for Brotherhood, I consider it the best Assassin's Creed game. Ezio is a phenomenal character, the story is interesting, it doesn't take a lifetime to complete. And just for me, I think it is the definitive classic Assassin's Creed experience. Although some people will argue it's Assassin's Creed 2, but it's whatever. Now, for Origins, this was when the series began to move into action RPG territory. The gameplay, while less stealthy, brings some neat and welcome changes to the series. The map is beautiful to look at, it's not too big, the gameplay is cool, and Bayek is, in my opinion, the second coolest character in the series. Overall, I felt that Origins helped reinvigorate Assassin's Creed, especially after Syndicate. Goodness, I do not like Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I mean, look at this gameplay. Does this look like Assassin's Creed? I mean, this is Batman Arkham Knight. Anyways, I don't know, just the zipline, the way the map was laid out, and just everything, it wasn't for me. I felt like I was Batman in the 1800s, okay? All that to say, I felt that Assassin's Creed Origins made some fresh changes that mostly worked, and it is definitely the best of the three not Assassin's Creed games. And so, with that said, this brings us to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. This game could easily take Origin's second place spot if it weren't for its boat trailing missions. Like, who thought of this? Trailing people is boring enough as is, but trailing a boat? Like, that's so bad, but if you can get past it, this is probably the best single-player pirate game ever created, and you get to be an assassin sometimes, which is pretty cool too. So, for a new Assassin's Creed game, I'm looking for three things. 1. Does the game look fun? That's pretty subjective to the player, but in a back-to-the-roots Assassin's Creed game, I'm looking for gameplay reminiscent of the Ezio trilogy, because to me, I think that's where the best classic Assassin's Creed gameplay is. But I'm also looking for improvements that distinguish it from previous titles in the series. Number 2. Is the game in a unique and interesting setting? This isn't a problem for the Assassin's Creed series. Well, except Syndicate. And maybe Revelations, but that's besides the point. History has a lot of opportunities, and I want the game to take place within an interesting time frame and location. And with that said, that brings us to our final point, number 3. Is the story interesting? That's something that is difficult to tell without actually playing the game itself, and I feel that once again is subjective based on how the player feels about the setting of the game. Regardless though, I want signs that the game is going to have a cool protagonist, a complex villain, and tell an engaging story. I feel that's pretty comparable to what most other people may want, but I digress. So, what does Assassin's Creed Mirage have to show for its back-to-the-roots gameplay? Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks more like they're going for a classic gameplay style. There aren't any levels and health bars above enemies' heads, and you can actually kill people instantly with the hidden blade, so, that's a plus. There just seems to be more focus on evasion and stealth overall, although I'd like to see more direct swordplay in combat. There just hasn't been a lot shown in the gameplay we've seen. It does remind me a bit of Assassin's Creed 3, though, just from the little footage, so I appreciate that. The parkour now, it looks interesting. Honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I feel like Basim's eject time when running from beams should be sped up a bit. He kind of looks like he's Mario jumping to each one. Ubisoft stated the game is based on Unity's parkour system, which I think is a good idea, but Basim looks a bit weighty when moving, like they did in Valhalla, so I'm not really sure how it will feel. I think we just need to play the game. Now, with all that said though, I do think the game looks kind of fun. But we gotta talk about the infamous teleport sequence now. So, a lot of people saw this and their interest died. And while I understand their frustration, I think it's a bit of an overreaction. Assassin's Creed has never been known for its gritty realism. I mean, since the beginning, you could enter Eagle Vision and identify your target from a mile away, and they'd shine bright gold and leave you a little breadcrumb trail. Like it's an arcadey assassin game, not a simulator. I think it's honestly kind of a fun addition, if a bit goofy. What's really goofy, though, is Ubisoft's reasoning behind it. They said in an interview with GameSpot that the Animus can't keep up with how fast and super cool and steroided Basm was, so the teleportation is a glitch as it tries to fill in the gaps. Like, that's just so stupid. The modern storyline is just it's just so bad. It's been bad since the ending of Assassin's Creed 3. Like, I'm tired of them shoehorning it into every game. Like, if they really wanted the modern storyline to be cool, make a modern Assassin versus Templar game or something. Like, it could be John Wick style or something. I don't know. It'd be cooler than what we have now. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. I think the gameplay overall looks like it has the potential to fulfill the classic Assassin's Creed gameplay void, but I'm worried there just won't be much else that is unique about it besides its controversial teleportation. There's a brief peek at the weapon wheel, but it doesn't really seem like it has anything that hasn't been in previous games. There's a skill tree, but it doesn't look that big. I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to be too negative about it, but it just looks like a lot of what I've seen before in Assassin's Creed. Like, they show off the knife double kill, where he stabs a guy with a hidden blade and then he throws a knife, but like that was in Valhalla. So, I don't know. It looks good, but it looks like just what we've had before. As for the setting, I think it's pretty cool. Set in 9th century Baghdad during the anarchy at Samarra, I can't name a game or a piece of media for that matter that I've seen take place during this time period. It'll be interesting to see how they weave the story in with history. I am going to segue briefly and talk about the map and graphics. Ubisoft said that this game is supposed to be smaller, more of an homage to the first Assassin's Creed, so prediction is it'll take about 20 hours to complete rather than the 100 plus hour epics of the previous two games. I like that. I just hope that there's enough side objectives to fill in the map rather than the map just being smaller and there's nothing to do. As for the graphics, I like how the environments look. They seem pretty detailed with a lot of colorful elements brightening up the desert environment. However, the character models look a bit dated. Not that Ubisoft has always had the best character models in terms of fidelity, but even compared to Valhalla, it looks like they've taken a slight step back. Here's Basm in Valhalla versus him in Mirage. Now, I know this isn't a great direct comparison, as one, the scene lighting is different, and two, Basm is older in Valhalla, but the detail in his face does not seem to be as sharp as it was. It may just be me, though, but as it is, I am looking forward to this setting, and I'm really just hoping Ubisoft doesn't fumble it. Now, our last point of discussion is the story, which, to be honest, there has not been a lot said about it. Ubisoft on their website has said, discover a narrative-driven action-adventure experience that follows the transformation of a defiant young man into a refined master assassin with a conflicted destiny. Hey, wait a minute! Jokes aside, I think they are going to play it a bit safe. I mean, they even did say they're trying to recreate Assassin's Creed 1 a little bit. Regardless, though, Basm was definitely one of the cooler characters from Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and with Mirage being a prequel, I wonder if they're going to address some of the plot points that occurred in Valhalla. And truthfully, I don't want them to. I'd rather just focus strictly on Basm and how he became a master assassin, and leave all the Norse mythology, Animus, Precursor, Isu, First Civilization mumbo-jumbo out of it. I have a feeling they'll build Basm in a slightly similar way to Ezio, for better or worse, and I don't know who his enemy is going to be in this game. I guess we will just have to see in a couple months. And now, with everything I've said, or not said, I would just like to state that I am cautiously optimistic, and I mean very cautiously optimistic, about Mirage. In my opinion, the best case scenario is this game comes out and it's in the 9 out of 10 range, but with Ubisoft's recent track record, I would not be surprised if this game is average at best. They desperately need a win with Mirage, as their most recent releases have failed to impress. I like what we've been shown overall, and I think Mirage does have the chance to bring back the classic Assassin's Creed experience, if maybe a little too similar to the earlier titles. Anyways, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when this game drops on October 12th. But good grief, please don't pre-order this game. Pre-ordering games is stupid.